All right, let's do the next one for the Locrian. Number 2 on the Locrian. All right, so now we're looking for the 1 note away minor second, remembering that this is one of the intervals that is not only different from the major scale. We kind of expect it to be a minor if it was like a normal minor mode, but it's also different than the main minor, which is the minor scale, which also has a major second, a 2 note away major second. The Phrygian, however, still does have a minor second, so it's not unique in the minor modes. So I'm still going to kind of call Locrian kind of like a minor mode, because the Phrygian also has it. The reason we don't think of Locrian as a normal minor is because it's got, once again, the crazy flat 5. The crazy flat 5, which we'll get to later. But this one is kind of crazy also. This is what makes Locrian, not the main minor. So it's kind of crazy too. It's just not as crazy as the flat 5 thing it does. All right. So we're on, this 2 represents the second position. This 1 represents the distance in half steps, because we're on a 2, an even note, or an even in our relative positions. When I count it in a chord, we skip it because we do every other note, 1, 4, 1, 3, 5, and then the 7, which is the last note in our scale, and then we go around to a 9. So the 2, for our purposes, is going to be equivalent to a 9 in that it has the same note. We're not going to get into octaves and whatnot for it. So that's what we're looking for, a 1 note away major second, which we can also call a 1 note away minor second, which we can also call a 1 note away minor 9. Now, if I'm on the same string, it's just 1 note away, right next door. It's too close. That's why it sounds ugly. It's too close. I need my elbow room. Otherwise, you get that kind of tensiony sound when it's too close, and then you have to get some release to have a normal chord that's not so bunched up. Okay, so then if I go above it, then we're gonna go above it. So now when I go above it, now I have to look for the inverse distance, right? So now I'm looking for a 1 note away minor second, or a 1 note away minor 9. There's 12 notes in the musical alphabet, so I'm going to say 12 minus 1 is a distance of 11. There's no fault line between these two notes, so it's just going to be, I'm going to call it negative 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Almost back. Let's replace this with the orange. Let's count it out up here. Negative 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Way back there. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets. So that's right in the middle. So it's just out of reach. So if I went from top to bottom, from that C to that B, that would be from the perspective of the C, a 1 note away. I'm sorry, it would be an 11 note away major, 11 note away. Wait a sec. Yeah, 11 note away, major 7. So the inverse of a 1 note away minor second, the inverse of a minor is always a major. The inverse of a 1 note away minor second would be an 11 note away major 7. But if I go from bottom to the top from the perspective of the B, that would be a 1 note away minor second. So that means that if I go up 1 string, the 1 note away minor second is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frets back, which also means, by the way, it's going to be 6 frets forward because it's right in the middle. All right, so we also have it out here. Would be the general rule, unless I cross the fault line, which would happen if I was on the B string. So let's go out here on the B string and say, if I'm on this B, do I need to go out to do that? And then if I was there and I go up 1 string, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I would generally want to go forward if I crossed the fault line to here, because that'd be a little bit lesser of a distance. So let's see. So from here, if I went from that B, it would also be to that C right there. All right. So the general rule is, if I go up 1 string, then the 1 note away minor second will either be 6 frets back or 6 frets forward. That's as far as the distance. It's the longest distance that we're looking at first, unless I cross the fault line, in which case, if I go up 1 string and cross the fault line, I probably want to go forward because that's a lesser distance. It'd only be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frets forward. All right, that's the hardest one we started off with. Let's see, hopefully things get easier after that, even though we're crossing the fault line now. So now let's go up 2 strings. So we're going to go up 2 strings. We're looking for a 1 note away minor second, which could also be called a 1 note away minor 9. If I go right above it, there's a distance of 5. This tectonic plate shifted to the left, so I want to go 5 by going this way. That would be 10, negative 10, and then 11. So if I count it up from here, it's going to be negative 5, and then this shifted that way, so negative 10, and then 11. So from the perspective of the C to the B, that would be an 11 note away major 7, but the perspective from the B to the C would be a 1 note away minor second. So that means if I go up 2 strings, the 1 note away minor and cross the fault line, the 1 note away minor second will be 2 frets back. But I wouldn't, which would also be called a minor 9, I wouldn't cross the fault line if I was starting above the G string or above the B on the G string or the D string. So if I was up here, like if I was on this B, then it would be up to here. So what happened? If I'm here, this would be the normal distance, and then if I look from the perspective of the B, this fault line shifted. So my destination shifted left, making the distance further. So the rule is, if I go up 2 strings, then the 1 note away minor second, which could also be called the 1 note away minor 9, will be 1 fret back, unless I cross the fault line, which would happen if I start from the bottom 2 strings, the B or the E string, in which case if I go up 2 strings and cross the fault line, the 1 note away minor second, which could also be the minor 9, will be 2 frets back. All right, let's go to the next one. And we're going to go up to the next one, and out here. All right, looking for the 1 note away minor second, which could also be called the minor 9, looking for a distance of an inverse distance, 12 minus 1 of a distance of 11. 5, negative 5, and then this fault line shifted to the left, so I have to go diagonal for 10, and then negative 15. There's only 12 notes in the musical alphabet, so I can bring it down by saying 15 minus 12 is negative 3. This goes towards 0, so 3, 2, 1, 0, or octave, which I can go to 12 around the horn, 11. All right, so let's count it this way. So we're going to say this is going to be negative 5, fault line shifts that way, so negative 10, negative 15. 15 minus 12 is negative 3, negative 3, 2, 1, 0, or there's the octave, or I can bring it around the horn to 12, and then 11. So here we have it on that C right there. So from the perspective of the C, that would be an 11 note away, which would be a major 7. From the perspective of the B, bottom to top, we would have a 1 note away minor second. Okay, so that means that if I go up 3 strings, the 1 note away minor second, if I go up 3 strings and cross the fault line, the 1 note away minor second will be 3 frets forward. I wouldn't cross the fault line if I started on the G string, which is the only one I can start on, and not cross the fault line and still be able to go up 3 strings, in which case if I go to this B, I go up 3 strings to that C. So notice what happens. Here's the distance normally, or not crossing the fault line. If I cross the fault line, from my perspective here, this tectonic plate shifted to the left. So once again, it's a lesser distance. So the general rule is, if I go up 3 strings, then the 1 note away minor second, which could also be the minor 9, will be 1, 2, 3, 4 frets forward, unless I cross the fault line, which happens 2 out of 3 times I can possibly go up 3 strings on the low strings or the bottom strings of the guitar, the B and the skinny E string, in which case if I go up 3 strings and cross the fault line, the 1 note away minor second, which could also be called the minor 9, is 1, 2, 3 frets forward. All right, next one. Let's go up to the next one. Now notice if I'm this close to the top string, what I might start thinking in my mind is to say, hey look, I know the same note is the same up here. So instead of me counting up, it would be a lesser distance if I count down from the top string. So just recognize that. So I possibly would do that in practice. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go from here to here. Well, I also know that if the same note is on the top, and if I go down below it, then, and I'm looking for a one note away minor second, I don't have to take the inverse distance. It would just be one note away, which would be a 5-note distance between the strings, 5, and then 4, 3, 2, 1. But if I counted it up from the bottom, then I'd have to take the inverse distance. So a one note away minor second or minor 9 is going to have 12 minus 1 or a distance of 11, which will be 5 to the string. This whole tectonic plate shifts to the left. So it's going to be negative 10, negative 15. I can bring that down. 15 minus 12 is negative 3, plus another 5 is going to be a negative 8. And then I'm going to say this goes more negative 8, negative 9, 10, 11. So let's count it from here. So we're going to say this is going to be negative 5. This shifts this way, negative 10, negative 15. Negative 15 minus 12 is going to be a negative 3, plus another 5 is going to be negative 8, negative 8, 9, 10, 11. So from here to here, top to bottom. So from the perspective of the C, it would be a 11 note away major 7. From bottom to top, it's going to be therefore a one note away minor second. So that means that if I go up 4 strings, I have to cross the fault line. I can't go up 4 strings and not cross the fault line. And therefore the one note away minor second, which could also be called the minor 9, will always be 1, 2, 3, 4 frets back. All right, let's go to the top string. And again, if I go to the top string, usually what I'm going to do is say, well, if I'm looking from this point to get to the top string, I'm going to say the same note is here, and one note away will be one note forward. So that would be the easy thing to do, but let's count it up from the bottom just to finish our practice here. So we're looking at a distance of one note away minor second or minor 9, and therefore I have to take the inverse distance because I'm going above it. 12 minus 1 is a distance of 11, so this would be 5 here. This fault line shifts to the left, so we go 10 here, and then this negative 15, let's bring it down. 15 minus 12 is negative 3, plus another 5 is negative 8, and then this is the only time if I go a distance of 5 strings that I gotta say 8 plus 5 would be negative 13, which is above 12, so I can bring that down. 13 minus 12 is negative 1, and then this goes towards 0, 0, or 12, because there's 12 notes in the musical alphabet going around in the circle, 11. Let's try to count that from the bottom, just to do it one more time. See if I can do it on the actual guitar. Negative 5, this moves back, so that's going to be negative 10, negative 15. 15 minus 12 is negative 3, plus another 5 is negative 8, plus another 5 would be negative 13. Wait a sec, 13, right? That's right. And then that brings it down to 13 minus 12 is negative 1, and then this is going to bring it down to 0 or 12. 12 minus 1 is 11. All right, so here to here, if I go from this C to that B, that would be from the perspective of the C an 11 note away major 7. From the perspective of the B, bottom to top, it would be a one note away minor second or minor 9.